Hi, this is Cheryl Zwalji from Astral Connections, and here with me I have Iqbal Ishani. Iqbal Ishani is a Qigong master. Pleasure to have you with us, Iqbal.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
I want to say Yali Madat.
Yeah, say Yali Madat, Holali Madat.
Iqbal has created some wonderful CDs. We'll talk about those later. Iqbal has an exercise program. We can talk about that. And Iqbal's going to be with us at Astral for a workshop, and we'll talk about that.
Yes.
But before we do all that, let's ask Iqbal a little bit about himself. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell me about your life. Tell me about your childhood, maybe.
My childhood. Oh my God, I was expecting more about my chi and the energy.
No, first we want to know you.
My childhood. I am born in Kenya. At the time there was the British colonies. I was born at that time. And so I grew up in Kenya, and education-wise, I was, as a young man, I was invited to an all-African school, Utali. And from there, I did so well that they offered me a scholarship to go to Germany.
Wonderful.
And so that's how my whole European circuit started. Before I had been to Europe, but this time now was as a scholar for communications and media.
Wow. So tell us about your educational journey then.
Well, the education was basically, as I was a tour guide, guiding people, which is funny because now I'm teaching people or guiding people, and as a young man, in a different way, like 16, 17, I loved nature. And so this was an invitation from some of my uncles who said, look, we're starting a lodge. Would you be interested in taking people around? And so I started saying, sure, I'd love to do that. And that was how my tour guide journey, and we would do Kenya, Tanzania, so Manyara, Serengeti, Ngorongoro, this whole circuit. And I would take people and show them nature, the ethnicities of people, the Maasai, the Watusi, you name it, the Nilotics, the Hemetics, and the Semitics, and the Bantus, of course. Yeah.
Wonderful. So then tell me a little bit about how does Iqbal come into Qigong, sorry.
Yeah, Qigong. I worked in the film industry. As I finished my scholarship, in fact, before I finished my scholarship, the state television grabbed me, German state television, and said, you speak so many languages, why don't you join?
Which languages did you speak?
Well, I already spoke English because it's a British colony. Then we had Swahili as the main language in Kenya.
I remember a little bit of that.
Habari, and then there was my mother spoke to me in Gujarati, although she was from Kutchi, so she spoke Kutchi, but she spoke with me in Gujarati. So I had already three as a 3-year-old. And then I increased it to French, and then I learned Spanish, and then German.
German.
And I had to do all my exams in German, so German became my main language.
Okay. So now tell me a little bit about your experience with Qigong and your passion of it and what motivates you and how you came into practicing it.
Qigong happened because I was carrying heavy equipment in the film industry. And 35mm, in those days, analog cameras and sound and lighting equipment was really heavy. And I was working in the field, so we would travel around the world, and you're carrying all this equipment. And I found that my lower back was starting to hurt, and so I looked for solutions. And one of them was a wonderful woman came into my life, Adelheid, who was a yoga teacher.
Okay.
And she does lunar yoga, and she was my first
lunar yoga.
Lunar for women.
Okay.
For women, but in Switzerland.
Okay.
And she was my main yoga teacher, and then I went to India, of course, and studied with yogis. But she was my main yoga teacher, and as she moved on to Switzerland, and I was still based in Germany, I started looking for other modalities, and I ran into some traditional Chinese doctors who said, why don't you try Qigong? And I said, what is that? A vegetable? I wasn't even sure what Qigong was.
Kind of like when I heard the words.
Yeah, and a lot of people here don't know. And Qi is energy, And Gong or Gong is
A sound?
is discipline or exercise.
Okay.
I mean, there's different ways of seeing it,
Right.
but this is how I interpret it, is exercises.
So it's like a meditation exercise even then?
Well, there's an active Qigong, because it's the mother of Tai Chi,
Right.
and then there's a passive Qigong. And passive Qigong is more meditative, and the active is actually moving. And as I came over to my new country, Canada, whom now I'm a citizen of Canada, I was teaching or showing my Qigong to the Qigong masters that were passing through Vancouver. And they said, this is not the Qigong we know. You're not teaching us the Qigong that we used to hear in the States and in Canada. And I said, really? For me, it's Qigong. And I certified in this. And they said, no, what you're teaching is medical Qigong. And I said, oh, well, that makes sense. I learned with doctors. So for me, what was normal
Was actually
medical Qigong. Because I work with people at the heart. I work on the liver, the kidneys, to get them into certain movements, but also inside. It's just not an exterior movement. It's also an interior movement. But that's not meditation.
Okay.
It's still getting
energy,
the blood
motion.
pumping,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Ah, okay. So even before we get to meditation, the movement of energy through the physical body is what we're talking about then?
Right.
Okay.
Well, there's three aspects. I was just in the States, in Atlanta, explaining this. There's three levels. I work on a psychological level,
Okay.
right? The psychological level of the mindset, the chattered mind, because all of us, especially women today, and there was a lot of women in the States who were interested. Women are in a really hard situation where they're having to do everything. They are having to do the business part, the nurturing part, all the parts, right? So a lot of them have become left-sided.
Okay. By choice?
By choice, yeah, but they're having to do all the work with the left side of the brain, which is logical, and the creativity, the right side of the brain, they don't have time.
Dormant.
Well, they don't have the time.
Right.
And so I started working on exercises, which the monks have taught me, trying to get the bridge built between the left side of the brain to the right side of the brain, so that they are more in balance with their daily life.
Practically even.
Practically. Exercises, right? So
Right.
you do exercises, which they're different exercises, where you're moving the left side of the body and the right side of the body at the same time. So you have to coordinate.
So if I understand correctly, you've created an exercise program recently. Can you tell us about that?
Well, what I found in America and in Canada, which is, again, I say my new country, and I'm observing the people here. What is it that they need? And what I have found is that people here don't have time. They're always doing something. They've lost this, we call in Germany, Freizeitkultur, is the free time culture. When you finish your work, you stop, you relax, you enjoy. Right? You go for a beer, or you go and have a sauna, or whatever. Here the people are working, and then the relaxation for them, at least what I've understood up to now, is relaxation means doing something. You don't go home and sit and enjoy, you do something.
Right.
And so this is what's creating a lot of stress. And so my whole program is dealing with stress. The other thing is that people were saying to me in the media world here, in the film industry, were saying that if your exercises are too long, people won't do them. They don't have the time. So I've created a program with the title Quick Fix Energy.
Okay.
Because it all has to be quick, and it has to have a certain fix, to get the value or the benefit.
The benefit.
And then what is it about? It's about energy. So if you're aligned and your energy is good, you have that energy to do other things or be in your balanced energy. There are different energy systems.
Right.